Good evening and welcome to Sky Night. The waxing crescent is visible as a slim crescent low in the west just after sunset. It sits in the constellation Virgo with 20% illumination. Please enable captions in your preferred language to view local observing cities and times. Join us for a guided tour of tonight's whole sky. We begin by watching the moon meet Venus and drift near Spica halfway up the southern sky, while the blinking planetary nebula hangs almost straight overhead. As the night deepens, the Pleiades and Mars appear near the eastern horizon, Deneb rises almost straight overhead, and the southern Delta Aquariids meteors streak halfway up the southern sky. Toward morning, the Andromeda Galaxy sits almost straight overhead, with Saturn halfway up the southern sky and the Triangulum Galaxy high in the southern sky. Hamal also stands high in the southern sky, while the Double Cluster and Perseids meteors are visible high in the northern sky. Start your evening by looking halfway up the southern sky, where the waxing moon and Venus form a close pair within about 3 degrees. This naked eye conjunction is visible right across the northern hemisphere, though twilight may brighten the sky at this early moment. The last good view before they set comes at about 8:05 in the evening in Los Angeles, 8:25 in the evening in New York, and 9 in the evening in London. Keep your gaze halfway up the southern sky to see the waxing moon passing close to the bright star Spica, within about 2.2 degrees. This naked eye conjunction sets tonight, so catch it while twilight still lingers. The last good view before they set comes at about 8:05 in the evening in Los Angeles, 8:25 in the evening in New York, and 9 in the evening in London. Tonight's featured deep sky object is the blinking planetary nebula, a high-magnification target in Cygnus that teaches the value of averted vision. Look almost straight overhead near Deneb and the northern wing of Cygnus. At the eyepiece, look slightly away from the central star, and the small blue-green disk pops out. The nebula reaches its highest point around 11 in the evening in Los Angeles, New York, and London, and from New York and London it never sets tonight. The blinking happens in your eye, not in the sky. Stare straight at it, and your color-sensitive central vision loses the faint gas. Glance aside, and it reappears. The Pleiades are rising from the eastern horizon as a little misty dipper of blue stars above and right of Orion. You can find this famous Subaru cluster by hopping from the belt through Aldebaran, where the icy blue stars are visible to the naked eye. The cluster rises at 10:49 in the evening in London, 11:30 in the evening in New York, and 11:46 in the evening in Los Angeles. The Pleiades are a surprisingly young star cluster, having formed only within the last 100 million years, which is a mere blink of an eye compared to the age of our Sun. Despite their youth, these brilliant blue stars are already moving through a dust cloud at about 11 miles per second, creating the beautiful reflection nebulae that surround them. Deneb sits almost straight overhead as the luminous top of the Northern Cross and one corner of the Summer Triangle. This blue-white star is visible to the naked eye and marks the top of the constellation Cygnus. Around 11:55 in the evening, the star is best placed in Los Angeles, New York, and London, and from London, it never sets tonight. Deneb is one of the best spectroscopically studied A-type stars among supergiants. This makes it a standard reference for astronomers when classifying other similar stars. The southern Delta Aquariids meteors are active now, though they are 17 days past their peak and fading. Look halfway up the southern sky for meteors streaking away from this radiant in Aquarius, with an estimated 4 meteors per hour. The radiant reaches its greatest altitude around 1:55 in the morning for Los Angeles, New York, and London. Mars is rising from the eastern horizon as an orange-red point of light in Gemini. This planet is visible to the naked eye, so just scan the low eastern sky for its steady glow. Mars rises at 1:19 in the morning in London, 1:59 in the morning in New York, and 2:15 in the morning in Los Angeles. NASA's rovers Curiosity and Perseverance are currently exploring Mars, searching for signs of ancient microbial life, studying the planet's geology, and preparing for future human missions. We now turn to the crossings of Phobos and Deimos across the disk of Mars. The first crossing of Phobos across the apparent disk of Mars takes 53 minutes. In Los Angeles, this happens between 10:07 in the morning and 11 in the morning with Mars above the horizon, and in New York it occurs between 1:07 in the afternoon and 2 in the afternoon as Mars is above the horizon, while in London Mars is below the horizon. Deimos makes its first crossing of the apparent disk of Mars, lasting 71 minutes. In Los Angeles, New York, and London, Mars is below the horizon. The next Phobos crossing of the apparent disk of Mars takes 52 minutes, occurring between 1:47 in the morning and 2:39 in the morning while Mars is above the horizon in London, whereas Mars is below the horizon for Los Angeles and New York. This is the third Phobos crossing of the apparent disk of Mars, spanning 53 minutes. In New York, it runs between 4:26 in the morning and 5:19 in the morning with Mars above the horizon, and in London between 9:26 in the morning and 10:19 in the morning as Mars is above the horizon, while Mars is below the horizon in Los Angeles. Tonight's featured deep sky object is the Andromeda Galaxy, the farthest thing the eye can see. Look almost straight overhead and hop from the corner of the Great Square of Pegasus along two stars to find this faint oval smudge in Andromeda. Around 3:55 in the morning, the galaxy is best placed for Los Angeles, New York, and London, with the latter remaining above the horizon all night. At the core of Andromeda lies a supermassive black hole estimated to be about 140 million times more massive than our Sun, significantly larger than the Milky Way's central black hole. In catalogs, it is listed as M31. Look halfway up the southern sky for Saturn, a steady, unblinking golden point in Pisces. It is fainter than Jupiter, but its calm yellow glow makes it easy to spot with the naked eye. The planet reaches its greatest altitude around 4:10 in the morning for Los Angeles, New York, and London. A day on Saturn lasts only 10.7 hours, making it one of the planets with the shortest day in the solar system. A complete rotation happens faster than on Earth. The Triangulum Galaxy is the third largest galaxy in our own small cluster of galaxies. Look high in the southern sky between Andromeda and the small triangle of Triangulum for this broad, ghostly glow, best seen with binoculars under a truly dark sky. For Los Angeles, New York, and London, the galaxy culminates around 4:50 in the morning. Shining at roughly 6th magnitude, the Triangulum Galaxy is widely regarded as the most distant object the unaided human eye can perceive, its light reaching us across some 2.7 to 3 million light-years under exceptionally dark skies. Hamal is one of the 50 brightest stars of the whole night sky, located in Aries. Follow the chain from Merak through Sheraton to find this naked-eye star high in the southern sky. The star reaches its greatest altitude around 5:05 in the morning in London and 5:20 in the morning in Los Angeles and New York. Hamal is one of the few bright, easily visible to the naked eye stars around which an extrasolar planet has been discovered orbiting, making it an important object in the history of exoplanet research. The double cluster is a binocular showpiece packed with young blue-white stars. Look high in the northern sky for this hazy patch between Perseus and the W of Cassiopeia, best found by tracing the line from Cassiopeia to Perseus. The cluster reaches its greatest altitude at 5:05 in the morning in London and 5:30 in the morning in Los Angeles and New York, and it never sets to night in any of the three. Both clusters of the double cluster in Perseus are bright enough to be seen with the unaided eye, even though they lie roughly 7,000 light-years from Earth. The Perseids meteors are active now, just 4 days past their peak and fading. Look high in the northern sky for meteors streaking away from this radiant in Perseus, with an estimated 67 meteors per hour. The radiant culminates at 5:05 in the morning in London, 5:30 in the morning in New York, and 5:45 in the morning in Los Angeles, and it never sets to night in any of the three. See you next time for your nightly sky guide, and clear skies to you.